Hey, you guys. Welcome, welcome. So, I've come like this for a reason. I'm going to be super honest today. I'm going to be saying these days things I hadn't said in those 22 years. And the truth is, I'm a mess. Without the tools I use, you guys, if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be here. And today, honestly, I'm still halfway there. But the truth is, energy work is a tool. It's not about perfection. It's about knowing how to navigate. So, it's about knowing how to shift. And so today we are here to talk about why your dopamine, and that is your motivation, your focus, your creativity hormone, from the soul perspective, the download I've got, it's like blood to your soul being in the body. And when there isn't enough of it, you feel like a complete mess, like me. And I'm originally dopamine deficit, as many of you are, being drawn to my audience. And from my calculations, I've done research. There is 40% of the population are one way or would be one way or another diagnosed as dopamine deficient. So that's all your ADHD or ADD called sometimes too people. Then your anxiety people, your depression people, your personality disorder, schizophrenia people if you go a little deeper. And then we have another 40% of the population that is dopamine deficient or dopamine imbalance because of the life we live. So that's why this is the first time in those 22 years that I'm describing to you what I've been experiencing from point zero. And what it means to be dopamine deficient and why we want to care about that, why we want to care about dopamine as the main thing to bring our energy up. So we're going to today talk about how to reclaim your energy, how to stop living in survival loops, especially when your mornings feel like mess. Now, you guys, this is my morning. And I'm living this true story of what I'm sharing here. There are some mornings, as it happens in dopamine deficient people, there are a real pain. And today, I woke up with dopamine flat, like complete dopamine flat. I killed my alarm clock and I went back to sleep. And even if I have the tools and I would know how to dopamine myself up first thing, I didn't do it. And that's part of being human. That's part of you knowing what you can do, choosing to be soft, because most of the days I can choose what time I want to wake up. And maybe that's something you want to develop in your life too. If you are dopamine deficient, to have all of us should want a life that we design. But yeah, that's being human. So you guys, dopamine isn't just a pleasure, your motivation, your energy, your clarity and direction. When your body is stressed, overstimulated, your brain goes, nope. And I'm preparing a course, and during these courses, or during the launches, my system gets overwhelmed. My system goes like, nope. So especially in the dopamine sensitive people, the flow shuts down in these situations. Now, this is not for everyone, right? So like in the teachings I give these days, I divide dopamine sensitivity to three body kinds based on science, based on my downloads. And I'm sure you will find yourself in it. If you're not sure, you can message me about it. I'll be preparing a test soon as well, so that everybody can test. But yeah, when your dopamine is down, you don't just feel sad, you feel like nothing. You feel like blank, foggy, overwhelmed by simple tasks, like overwhelmed by, like me standing up today. I was like, how are you going to do this? The other signs that your dopamine, you are in a low dopamine mode, and mind you, now this is not the whole day, right? There's waves. And what we do in the energy work, we learn how to work with the waves so that they serve you. You can't start things, even small ones. You crave sugar, carbs, drama, online distraction. You feel stuck, but weirdly overthinking everything. You feel guilt for not doing more, but you don't have the energy to fix it during these lows. And then you have this brain fog of meh about life, kind of like, right? So why I went back to sleep today wasn't because I didn't care. It was because my dopamine was flat. And yes, I have all the tools, but sometimes if you're too depleted, you can't reach for them. So instead of shame, now I meet this with compassion instead of thinking, because back in the day, I wish someone had told me when I was younger that there was nothing wrong with me when I was, waking up for the school days, and I would go like, I'm not sure I can go there. Like, and there would be, like when my mom had a corporate job after my dad died. So she'd be working really early and long hours. So when she wasn't there at home, I would just skip school, not telling her. And I thought there was something wrong with me. And this is really why in those 22 years of working with personal development and in 8 years working with energy teachings, I never talked about this because I was ashamed of it. And this is the first time I'm coming out going, it's actually okay. It's actually okay if this is how you have felt. It's okay if this is how you have felt. And the only thing you need is to know that there is nothing wrong with you and there is a way to get through it once. Well, actually, for lots of people being dopamine deficient, if they are able to navigate it right, I would say most people who are able to navigate it right, it is a pro. It is an amazing, from a metaphysical perspective, it means that you are here with a really deep mission. And the deep mission is to learn more and to give more. But you work in energy bursts. You don't work in stable energy. And it's completely okay. But you need to know how to navigate these bursts, not that they navigate you. So instead of shame, I now meet these teachings with compassion and tiny actions to shift gently. Okay, I think it's time for me to put real clothes on. Let's do that. I'll get off the camera for a second. There we go. So today I feel all of this, and I still showed up. Not because I had energy, but because I learned how to build it. So some of the tools I will share with you today, and then in the deeper teachings I'm doing right now, we map it for your particle body kind, and we go into what is necessary for you in what part of the day when these dips happen. Now the dips go also influencing your mind. So the important thing is to know that your mind is not really your identity, is not really what you are right now. If your mind is saying that you're lazy, that you're unable to do things, it's just the chemistry that is talking to you right now. So this is really, really important. But really the whole journey didn't start with a book on burnout. It didn't start with a burnout only. It started when I lost my dad to suicide. And here we have a decent clothing on, finally. I actually put some mascara on too. Now, at the time, I was 6 years old and I didn't understand really what happened. But I went, not straight away, I was almost 7. I think I was 9 years old when I digged into libraries and I started studying everything on neuroscience, mindset, emotions, everything that was available back then. And there wasn't that much. For the next 10, 15 years, there wasn't so much, but I studied everything that had So kind of psychology, sociology, relation, so that I would understand the humankind and why the heck would someone want to commit suicide. And I really didn't want anyone else to commit suicide. And meanwhile, as I was studying it, I realized that my dad was dopamine deficient. And I started seeing that so was I. So I had built these rituals and strategies, mindset, because without them, I would have spiraled some way. Without them, now that we are pivoting my business from teaching healing and energy to teaching your basic daily energy and teaching it to entrepreneurs and teams, without that, I would have felt like my dad. My dad committed suicide when he started his business. It was a couple of years after he started his business, maybe not even 2 years, that he just couldn't. And me seeing how businesses go, how hard it is to change, sustain a business, I understand that if you don't have the tools, you feel lost. And from the metaphysical perspective, what happens is your aura shrinks, your space around you shrinks, and it feels like there is no space here. It feels like you don't want to be here. Like, what is the point? So then your mind goes spinning into that, right? And thanks to the tools I have, I can feel little pinches of what it's like. I can feel like when the anxiety wants to get me. And I can picture if I spiraled, how that would become me wanting to not be here. I can really relate to what my dad was going through. But thanks to the tools, I know how to pick myself up. I know that it's not real. I know that it's the mind spinning because it's caused by the chemistry and because your energy vibrations drop through you not having enough dopamine. Hey. So if you're joining here a little late, you with me live. Thank you. I'm sharing a story I never shared from this perspective about why I started working with energy, why I started working with mindset, why I've studied everything, psychology, neuroscience, energy, healing, and why I want everyone now to know how dopamine works. I'm sharing why dopamine is the blood of your soul in the body, without which you don't feel enough focus, you don't feel enough motivation, you don't feel enough creation or creativity, and you don't feel like life is worth living. And the dopamine deficient people aren't just dopamine deficient all the time usually. They do have bursts when they feel really strong in their body, but the bursts are short. So if it's not regulated, the bursts are short. So the tools help you to spread out your dopamine throughout the day. And when you have the burst, really well use it. Ride the wave of it. Okay. So everything I teach now is a way to make sure others never feel lost, alone, or unregulated like my dad did to commit suicide. And this work has saved me. It's become my purpose to share. Without that, I would be a junkie. I would be drinking. Back in my teens, before I grabbed the proper energy work tools, I just had the psychology of that. And back then, there wasn't enough neuroscience logic explained in a palatable way. I would be self-medicating. I would go to my doctor as a teen, imagine, and they would prescribe me some kind of calmers. And I would be mixing the calmers with alcohol from age of 13, 14. And Then I stopped using the calmers, kind of experimenting with how you can self-medicate, because back then I didn't know anything about energy work, meditation, and the tricks I teach now. It took me quite a few years before I got all the tricks. From the age of 17 to 18, I was on meth, because like when you have HGHG people now prescribe Adderall, or HGHG people, or like high performance taking cocaine, which I don't recommend, or regularly taking cocaine. If they take it twice a year, maybe that's good for fun. But that's because your dopamine deficiency seems to get, or there are some studies that says, partially regulated through stimulants. Now, this is up to everyone if they want to decide to get prescribed stimulants for dopamine deficiency. In my experience, long term it doesn't work, and metaphysically it does something horrible to you. It doesn't really go expanding your energy field. It doesn't go with that expanding your life mission. You may be really good at what you do, but as Gay Hendricks says, you are in zone of excellence, not in your zone of genius, which means you can work really well what you're working on, because when you work your dopamine right, and the dopamine deficient people, when they work it right, they can be real stars. But then you may not be working on your life path, and that usually fires back at some point. So to give you some tips of what can bring you up, besides the tests I will have for you to know how dopamine deficient you are, the tricks I can give to everyone that gets me and got me here today is get light in your eyes. So even if it's not beautifully sunny like today in Prague, go to your window or go out. If you have a dog, better. And at least for 5 minutes, go and look towards the sun first thing in the morning. Now, this is really hard if you're dopamine deficient when you wake up. It sounds super easy to do. But if you're waking up from bed, like many of the days the dopamine deficient people do, and you are like, how do I fucking even stand up? You need to know that after you've done this, it will start changing. And I've been making these videos, I should probably make more of them, where I'm sitting in the sun and I am bathing in the sun. And I can tell you, I've been testing this. And when I'm in direct sun, kind of towards the direct sun, which you can always get, but it's still good to go towards the sun, for more than 20 minutes, I usually make it a point to walk towards the sun. Or when I'm with my dog, I go throwing him toys and I'm standing opposite the sun. After about 20 minutes, even if I was really low, I start smiling. There is nothing to smile about, but I start smiling. So I swear by this little trick. Then cold shower. So if you're at home after your 5 minutes in the sun, take a cold shower. Now your cold shower wants to go on the back of your neck. It wants to go on your shoulders, because here is your temperature regulation center. Here is where your body says like how cold or warm you are. And you should be in the shower. Now you can start with 30 seconds and build yourself up to 2 minutes, but you should be in the shower for about 2 minutes. And that's bloody amazing. And it may feel horrible when you're there, even though when you're telling yourself that it's not horrible, it goes sending serotonin into your body to calm down. But once you get out, sooner or later, in a few minutes, you will get a dopamine hit. Now, on the top of the dopamine hit, you will get some serotonin hit too, because the cold causes pain, and the pain gets released to serotonin, which is your pleasure hormone. So you will get fucking pleasurable in your body. So we want that, right? Now, if you do 2 of those showers and you go shivering in between, I'll give you a bonus. You may start losing weight if you want to lose weight, because there is 3 kinds of fat. And one of them goes shivering with cold. It's called brown fat, and it goes dissolving as you go shivering. So really cool losing fat trick on the top of your dopamine hit. Huberman talks about that on his podcast. And then you want to have some protein. Now, first thing in the morning, you should have a bit of vegetable or lots of vegetables if you want, and protein. Now, I usually go for carrot or some sauerkraut because they're super easy to grab, and some eggs or a protein shake. And this is going to change just these few things. They take like 15 minutes, and it's going to change how actionable, how workable you are when you enter the world. So this is exactly what we do and way more in my daily energy mini course. There are 3 powerful classes, 1 integration session, rituals, templates, and guidance that helps to reclaim your energy and really know how to navigate it in your particular case, because those dips and the reasons why you have those dips will be a little different for everyone. And if this spoke to you, DM me or drop me a comment, and we are starting next Saturday. And I'd love to have you inside. Thank you, Marcia. Right. And even if you don't join, take at least one of the tools and start today. Try it. You'll feel a shift, I promise. You're not broken. You are just low on the tools. And if you feel like what I've been describing, and if what I've been describing, chances are that you are dopamine deficient or you have dopamine deficiency. Oh, thank you, Amor. Thank you. And I've got you. I've been through it. I've been guiding people through it, and we're never perfect, but when we have the tools, we know how to navigate. All right, you guys. So this is my bit for today. I hope you enjoyed my little transformation during it. Any questions? I can still stay for a minute. Otherwise, it's going to be a hang up on YouTube, as we do always. And if you are, thank you. Thank you for the tips. Yeah, perfect. We are going to be sending by email who's on our email list. If you're not on my email list, send me your email into a DM along with any questions. And yeah, come to the course or ask me about how the course works. You guys, I'm so happy I can do this. And doing a little thing, finishing a task like I've done with you here goes boosting your dopamine too. So I hope you can feel it. I hope you can feel that my energy has picked up. I hope your energy has picked up too. And I will see you in the next live, probably next Saturday again, or in the course, or helping you with a test for your dopamine or anything else like that. Thank you.